Stay up to date on the latest in music. Listen to Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light. Join the Sound Up Pod Squad simply by liking our Facebook, following us on Blue Sky. Yes, we're on Blue Sky now, Instagram, X, and signing up for our weekly newsletter at sounduppod.com.
This is Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light, the only music podcast that matters.
Hey, I'm Mark Goodman.
And I'm Alan Light.
And on this episode of Sound Up, Carrie Colliton, our old friend, co-founder of Record Store Day, joins us to discuss some of the big releases hitting stores on Black Friday.
I have a review of, yes, one of the final Taylor Swift concerts on the Eras Tour, which I made the trip up to Toronto to catch. Also, my take on the new Beatles documentary, Beatles 64, which is premiering this Friday on Disney+.
Oh, man. That might be what I might have to subscribe. Okay. Plus, I do have a review of the Soulshine benefit for hurricane relief at Madison Square Garden on Sunday night.
Cool that you got there.
Yeah. Plus, music news on Fleetwood Mac, Coachella, Drake, and Jack Antonoff, and our new music picks of the week.
Before we get into all that, just a quick reminder. We are getting set out to close out Season 1, Year 1 of Sound Up with our final mailbag show of 2024. It will drop on December 31st.
That's right. This is your chance to ask us anything. Send in comments on Season 1 and guest and topic suggestions for Season 2 on Sound Up.
Yes, of course, there will be a Season 2 of this little podcast here. We have some great stuff already planned, some new segments, a lot more interviews, conversations, live events, and more coming up.
To be part of our holiday mailbag episode, send your questions or comments to connect@sounduppod.com. All right, Alan, I've been waiting for this. Your chance to once more chat about Taylor and review one of the final performances on her Eras Tour, one of the biggest tours of the year, decade, century, probably.
Keep going.
Yeah, right? Millennia.
I will try to contain myself because I could do this for a long, long time. But I did make one final trip last week to get in on the second to last stop on the Eras Tour. I went up to Toronto. Taylor sold out 6 nights over 2 weekends at the Rogers Centre Stadium in Toronto. This weekend in Vancouver, the final stop on the Eras Tour, just over 2 years after she announced. The biggest tour of all time, potentially when the numbers are added up, taking in $2 billion, will wind up, and we'll see what comes next for the greatest pop star of our time. And what am I going to say? What am I going to come here and say? It is the greatest show on earth. It is, the spectacle, the production, the performance are absolutely beyond belief, set a new standard for what this scale of show can look like and can do. I saw her early on in the tour, one of the early stops at Giant Stadium. Since then, of course, there's a whole new section of the show because Tortured Poets Department came out and there was a new era to address and incorporate.
So did that just mean it went longer?
Well, she dropped some songs.
She did. Okay.
Which, she plays 40 songs. It's pretty petty to complain about any songs that are missing, though there are songs that I miss. It runs a little longer. It's about 3 hours 20 without a break, other than the costume change breaks. And it's, the whole thing, what it has become, the rituals within the show, the way that this tour takes over a city. I mean, my plane was clearly half the airplane was flying in for these shows.
Oh my God.
When you hit the Toronto airport, you could just see coming out of each gate, the whole airport felt like it was in town for these Taylor shows. There were city streets were renamed. Oh. Police horses were wearing friendship bracelets around their necks. The subway system had signs that just said, Taylor Swift with an arrow. That's all you need. Where everybody was going. And that it lives up to that it delivers that it is this anticipated, this feverish, people flying in from all over the world for this show. And then everybody walks away ecstatically happy with what it is that she performs. We got a really lucky night on the surprise songs. We got her duetting with Gracie Abrams, the opening act. The one time that they did this, they sang Us from the previous album, which has got a Grammy nomination. So that was a big moment as the surprise song.
Stay up to date on the latest in music.
All of
Listen to Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light.
It was remarkable to witness. I got to visit family who I love. Shout out my cousin Rob, who's a regular listener and is listening right now, waiting to see what I'm going to say. It was great to see those guys. So the whole thing was super easy to do. And Vancouver this weekend, and that is it. End of the Eras Tour.
It is, we'll move on in just a second, but for someone to be able to command the audience in a stadium the way that she does, there's not everyone can do that. That's a certain something to be able to make it feel intimate.
Yeah, and I mean, intimate, I don't know. It's such an emotion, like it's such a everybody's in it together.
Yeah.
You're watching it as much with the people around you as with whatever is happening on stage. It's, the experiential piece of it has become so much larger than one artist. But not just to do it 6 nights in the same, in that same stadium, over and over.
Yeah.
It's astounding to see it. It's obviously broken every record for however you do the metrics, number of tickets, value of the tickets, total sales, it's the biggest thing anybody's ever put on a stage.
Right.
And the construction of this show, because it reviews her whole career in the way that it did, really allows, she could do anything starting next week. Like, she has a
right.
clean slate. Everything is caught up. She can go wherever she wants to go.
Be interesting to see where, in fact, she does go. I think she's got to disappear for a little while.
Very little while. This is not somebody who believes in downtime. Don't expect her to be away for long.
I love that. I got to attend a show, nothing like that stadium show with Taylor, but a really amazing show on Sunday night here in New York City. It was a benefit show called Soulshine, and a benefit for hurricane relief. So that is both for Florida and for Asheville. And it's basically a jam band show. Goose opened the night, Dave Matthews Band, Nathaniel Rateliff, Warren Haynes. Also, a bunch of special guests. Derek Trucks was there. Susan Tedeschi was there. And it was hits, except Goose. Look, Goose doesn't really have any hits, but Derek came out and played with Goose, and it was amazing. Then Susan came out and was playing with them. And Goose did sort of the first third of the show, some special guests. They went off. Then it became Warren Haynes for a while. And then Derek came out with Warren, and they're doing things like they did with Warren and Derek together, Shakedown Street, which I thought was kind of a cool cover, and Whipping Post.
So they had to do some Allman Brothers.
Right? Not a surprise. But here's the funny thing. There's 2 things that happened as far as that goes. We're sitting next to, a bunch of people, and I was flipping about Whipping Post, and she's going, God, what is this song? I never heard this song before.
Wow. I was going, you're in that audience, and you don't know that song.
Right? So I'm okay. And the same thing with Nathaniel Rateliff, too, who I went to see. And people were like, wow, he's pretty good. I never saw him before. So I guess a good night for Nathaniel. So Warren Haynes and Derek Trucks doing that, and Whipping Post, as I've said in the past, amazing. Fantastic. Those guys are ridiculous players. They did an insane job. I saw the Allman Brothers do it. What am I going to say?
Fair enough. But you can't see the Allman Brothers do it.
Exactly.
Do it
and
anymore.
it was close. Really, really exciting. I don't mean to diss their performance.
The 2 of them were doing it as the front line of the Allman Brothers for a whole lot of years.
Yeah, it's not like they never did it before. It's true. So Dave Matthews was there. And after Warren and Derek finished doing their set, they sort of shut down. They were showing, as you would imagine, some sort of things to highlight where these funds are going to go in Asheville, showing footage in Asheville and in Florida. And then on sort of a quiet stage, there wasn't anything going on, Dave Matthews walks out with Susan Tedeschi. This is sort of between sets, it seemed really almost impromptu, although I guess I'm sure it's not. And they did a version of Angel from Montgomery that was jaw-dropping. So beautiful. Just the 2 of them, Susan.
That's great.
Right? It was breathtaking. I really, really loved it. Nathaniel came out after that with his band, and it was mostly him. I was wondering, are they going to be bringing people out? Well, the answer is yeah. Also out after Nathaniel did a bunch of Night Sweats stuff, Trombone Shorty came out. We had Robert Randolph play, and he came out. Susan came out. It was just everybody showing up during Nathaniel's set, and that's not even the end of the night. So they did probably, 45, 50 minutes, I suppose. And then Dave Matthews. Then it was the headliner with yet more people coming out, more people playing. And Mavis Staples, I wanted to mention Mavis Staples. She came out. And that was it. They were working together and did amazing stuff. So just to wrap up, a great night. I'm a little more into jam band music than I was the night before. And some money was raised. It was really, that was the best part of it. I go to shows all the time at MSG and all over the place. On Sunday night, I bought a T-shirt. I never buy a T-shirt, but good cause.
And a little teaser for Nathaniel, who's going to headline the Garden in March.
Your neighbors may not have known him, but he's moved up to Garden headliner. And Goose, if they're not there, probably could sell out the Garden at this point. They've got that kind of following now.
Look, we were at the Rock Hall for Dave Matthews' introduction, and we kind of determined that a big part of that audience was there for him. And I think that's the case with that show on Sunday night. But it wasn't like, the others were far behind. It was really an amazing night.
Good one.
You got a one more review that I'm really curious about.
Yeah, real quick. There's a documentary that's going to be premiering on Disney Plus this Friday. The latest Beatles project. It is called Beatles 64. I actually went to the premiere last night, which was attended by Paul McCartney, Olivia Harrison, Sean Lennon, Elvis Costello, Little Steven, for just a little screening room premiere. It was a pretty big event.
Wow.
Beatles can still draw them like that, I suppose. So it's produced by Martin Scorsese. It is directed by David Tedeschi, who is a longtime Scorsese collaborator, has sort of moved from editing these projects. Like I think he was the editor on the Dylan documentary. Now he's taken over directing this. And look, it's not a big, expansive, it's a very precision strike look at a moment in Beatles history. Beatles 64 isn't even that's bigger than it sounds. It's not the year. It is the 2 weeks in February of their first American visit. When they came over, played the Ed Sullivan Show, played the first concert in D.C., came back and played Carnegie Hall, went to Miami for the second Sullivan Show, went home. So it's those 2 weeks. Now, David and Albert Maysles, the Maysles brothers, the sort of pioneering documentary filmmakers, they were with the Beatles and shot that whole trip. And it was a TV special that aired but then was never seen again because they didn't have any rights and clearances. That was re-edited into a DVD in the 90s. But this is a bunch of stuff that the Peter Jackson team took in and cleaned up and restored. And so the footage looks fantastic. And B, about 15 minutes of new footage that hasn't been seen before. And new interviews with Paul and Ringo and with people who were there and witnessed it. So they found some of the girls who were standing out in front of the Plaza Hotel and talked to them now. And look, this isn't going to change our understanding of Beatles history. It's not, some hugely novel new take. It's not unseen footage that's like a total revelation. But it does, I think, flesh out context for that moment in a way that even if it's familiar, just reminds you and places you, what was going on in the culture at that time. It starts with the Kennedy assassination and what it meant that they came, less than 3 months later and what that meant to the country. There's a writer named Joe Queenan who's in it, who just was a magazine writer. I'm not sure why they ended up with him, but he has one fantastic line when he says, essentially, because they came, my father never recovered from the Kennedy assassination, but we did.
Yeah.
And it's that line is really moving. And the heroes of this movie, just to see the Beatles screwing around in their hotel room, making each other laugh, the wit and the camaraderie and the spirit that they have is still just magnetic. Obviously, the performances, we know the Sullivan Show and the DC performance are great. Right. But the other heroes in this movie are the girls.
That's
the footage of the girls from back then it's so great. And it is so great that there's something that's happening that's not just them screaming. Like, it's easy to make fun of them just screaming, and that's what it was. But you see them sort of coming into a new agency and a new awareness of themselves and a new time. There's footage of these girls who've got their way onto the floor that the Beatles were on in the Plaza.
Yeah.
And, then they're thrown out, whatever. But their confidence and their composure and like what this meant, there's something else that comes off of this that I found really powerful. So it's a small project, but I think it's, it's fun and it's a rewarding project for the scope of what it is.
It's interesting that you say that it also, it brings in, as it must, the times, because it all wrapped up together. The Kennedy assassination, it's so true that it was, we breathed a sigh of relief when these guys showed up. And people now don't realize those guys being cheeky, that never happened.
Yeah.
Everybody was polite. I mean, even Elvis was polite. These guys being cheeky and, making fun of reporters, and that was a whole new world.
Yeah. And it's whether it's, Eric Severide
Oh,
comparing Beatlemania to the German measles, Then there's like Betty Friedan talking about how the Beatles and long hair represented the emergence of a new man and a new kind of masculinity, and like all the stuff that's kind of rattling around.
Let me ask you what I think, and then I know we have to move on. It was also it was the birth of American youth as we now know it. You know what I mean? Coming out of the 50s.
More than just American youth, of youth around the world. I mean, after sort of the teenager gets invented in the 50s.
Right.
Everybody sort of says decades don't start at the zero. The 60s didn't start in 1960. The 60s started in 1964.
Yep.
And that's what you're seeing happening, that, this is leading to a different history. And the velocity of it is just so, it's just insane how fast everything is moving. So if you're a fan, you're going to watch it. If you're curious, I think especially for young viewers who have discovered them, but they maybe don't have all of that, can't access sort of all of that history and connect the dots in that way. I think in some ways for that kind of a viewer, it's even better.
All right. We should move on to some news.
Well, first thing is we'll come around to it later. Probably the biggest story of the week was a surprise new Kendrick Lamar album. But on the other side, Drake, who spent most of this year and remains locked in this rap battle with Kendrick, continued this week with Drake saying, "I'm here, as you can see, fully intact. You need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it." So, it ain't over. And we've got the Super Bowl coming up. We got the Grammys coming up. The actual Drake news this week is that he announced an Australian tour, his first since 2017, which will start, hey, how about this for a coincidence? The same day Kendrick plays the Super Bowl.
They really planned it like that? The beef is that deep that they really, Jesus. There's
like a lot of things to line up. Kendrick is playing the Super Bowl on February 9th in New Orleans. That we know. That's been in place. Drake revealed that his Australian tour will launch that same day. Didn't provide any details, said he'll be playing Melbourne, Sydney, and the Gold Coast. And I guess it's true. I mean, if you in terms of that he teed it up, the fact that he's announcing that date before he's even announcing which cities he's playing, would lead you to believe that it's a pretty direct target. So the game goes on.
But how dumb is it to do that? Because at the end of the day, Kendrick's going to be playing Super Bowl halftime in front of one of the biggest audiences you can gather together.
Absolutely.
And he's got the perfect opportunity to throw a diss at you that you cannot match the scale of.
Well, you're in Australia. And actually on that day, I got to do the math. Are you ahead or behind on the, does he have to do his first show before the Super Bowl so Kendrick totally gets a free shot?
Oh, man.
Ridiculous. But there you go. The games continue on into the new year.
I don't get those beef things. Yeah.
Speaking of shows for next year, we got an extra early announcement of the Coachella lineup.
Yeah. What is up with that? Extra early indeed. I don't know what we are to make of that, but Lady Gaga, Green Day, Posty, Travis Scott, all set to headline one of the biggest music festivals in the U.S.
I haven't heard any explanation for why. I mean, usually that doesn't come until after the new year.
Right.
And we're still ahead of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Wednesday, November 20th. That's Coachella Music and Arts Festival announced April 11th to the 13th and 18th to the 20th of next year. Big headliners. I mean, it's interesting that Gaga, Posty, and Travis Scott as headliners. This used to be a straight up rock and roll show.
Well, and the other thing that jumps out is how much it's not a dance show.
There's only a few really great dance artists.
That's where it really has been for a while. I mean, it was a sort of alt rock, indie rock, whatever. Mm-hmm. Then it really shifted into embracing dance world, as we talked about a lot. There's not a lot of big gun dance acts on this bill at all. This is,
I know. I love going to the dance tents. Now, I haven't been in years, but I was actually considering going this year. And now I don't know.
I mean, what have you seen much response to this announcement? Because I've seen I don't know. Yeah. And what I've seen has been sort of like, is this really what Coachella needs to be doing? I mean, last year was their slowest selling. I think they were able to ultimately claim a sellout, I think, but much slower than the sort of out of the gate sellout that they've gotten used to. Definitely tailed off. So these are, on the one hand, bigger names.
Right.
You know, stadium filling acts, and obviously a big thing for Gaga, who hasn't done it and sort of takes that slot. And some big names on the undercard, Megan Thee Stallion and some others who are a big deal. But does it sort of, you know, rebrand or at least drift away from the sort of leading edge thing that Coachella's always stood for?
I would be excited to see Missy Elliott, who is going to be there on the Friday nights. I haven't seen her in many, many years. It's great that she's sort of out and about again. But yeah, I agree with you that there's some interesting acts, but nothing of the stature that we were used to. There's no great reunion happening.
You do have the original Misfits.
You do have that.
Okay.
Which are on the same day as Yo Gabba Gabba.
Right. Hey, look, that's not exactly Bauhaus, but okay.
And as noted, you have Kraftwerk.
Yes.
And they're like a medium font.
Yes.
Kraftwerk.
Right.
Well,
I mean, where would we be without Kraftwerk today? I don't know.
And speaking of fonts, the Misfits are the only ones on the poster who get their name in their font and logo.
They got the logo font. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Part of the rider.
It must be.
Well, when more people know the T-shirt than know the band, that's probably a good seller. Like, oh, that the one with the skull.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. So, all right.
All right, one more thing before we get out of here. I'm excited about this. Apple Original Films announces the definitive documentary on legendary rock icons Fleetwood Mac. That is beyond Daisy Jones and the Six and beyond Stereophonic.
That's right.
Like, this is really the Kennedy Marshall Company. Frank Marshall is doing it, he is how many Academy Awards this guy won? Like 4 or something like that. I mean,
major operation.
A major operation, what they're calling the definitive new documentary on rock royalty, fully authorized documentary. And there will be not only, as you would hope, archival footage, but there will be brand new interviews with each of the remaining 4 members. And it looks like at this point we may actually hear, and again, we don't know about production. There's certainly no delivery date. They don't even have a title yet.
Right. We don't have a title. We don't have a date. We don't know if it's one or a multi-part thing. We don't know the scope and how far back. Are they going to do all the pre-Lindsay and Stevie, which is its own mega soap opera story before you even get into the soap opera everybody knows? So lots of questions around what this is actually going to be, but we've been waiting for it for so long. I think after the Eagles documentary, whenever that was, everybody was like, okay, if they got those guys to sit down and do it,
right?
Obviously, the next one that, to negotiate into this kind of a deal is Fleetwood Mac, but nothing has happened until now. So
there is word that there will be also some previously unseen Christine McVie interview footage. Yeah. So I'm certainly looking forward to that.
I'm hoping this one is similar to that Eagles 2-part doc because it was really done well. I mean, and it even had that on-stage banter between the guys fighting that you could hear them talking about beating the crap out of each other,
3 more songs and I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, if we have the footage of Lindsay throwing the guitar at Stevie on stage in the Tusk tour, that could be that can do it. I will just say for those of us who are out here working on a book about Fleetwood Mac, it's only good news that there's this documentary forthcoming.
So, yeah, you got to get that release date, Alan. Got to find out, coordinate the publishing.
Don't think I'm not working on that, but I have nothing additional that I can report. And then super quick, just to note from our friends at Variety announced their hit makers for the year, including Shabuzi with the Newcomers Award, Benson Boone Newcomers Award, Amy Allen Songwriter of the Year, Daniel Nigro Producer of the Year. But we'll just note Jack Antonoff being given the Producer of the Decade Award. And this is on the same week that Jack has a production credit on 11 out of 12 tracks on the Kendrick Lamar album.
But wait, he's not produced in the Producer of the Year category this year? Am I right?
At the Grammys, he is not.
Total
Grammys,
snub.
He's won the last 4 years. He was not nominated this year, but Variety makes it up to him with the Producer of the Decade Award, which I guess you win 4 straight Grammys for that, and it's probably pretty easy from there. But his credit on the Kendrick record is wild.
It's a producing co-writing or just...
It's a co-producing credit. Soundwave, who is Kendrick's main producer, is credited on everything, but then Jack is credited on all but one of the tracks, which is really interesting as well. So the Jack Antonoff dynasty shows no sign of slowing down.
He's probably not on like a Drake track. He's like, I want to be part of this. Just I'm not involved.
Keep me out of this.
Keep me out of this. I might want to work with the guy. Leave me alone.
So there you go. There's a look at just some of the stuff going on in the world of music. We're trying to keep you up to date on that. And now we're going to keep you up to date on the amazing finds available to you for Black Friday Record Store Day. We're going to be right back with co-founder Carrie Colliton. We have a great friend, an old friend, not old, but young old friend joining us. Carrie Colliton of Record Store Day. We've had you on, it seems like every year for the last, 6 or 7 or something.
Every year, twice a year. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure is ours. Carrie, thank you so much for coming on and talking about the Black Friday Record Store Day.
Yeah.
This is, I guess, the biggest event of the year, right? Of the Record Store Day events.
Of the second half of the year, let's say that. I like to think that our holiday that we don't have to share with everybody else, Record Store Day, is the biggest. But we'll share the goth holiday of Black Friday with everyone else.
Is there a difference in sales and performance from your Spring Day and Black Friday?
There's a difference in intention. On our part and on the store's part and on everybody who puts things together for the list. Record Store Day is genuinely, I make a joke about it, but at this point, it's a holiday for record stores and nobody else. And
holiday where they work.
That's right. It's a holiday where they give the gifts to you, like they do every other day of the year. But they get high fives, and that's enough for them. But Black Friday, we of course share that with everyone else in the world who sells things or services at this point. So we really just want that day to be, and the list is always smaller, and we want that day to be a way for the stores to have a little bit of tinsel and sparkle and a way to kind of break through all the noise about Black Friday and remind people that whether you're shopping the day after Thanksgiving or you're shopping throughout the first week of December, or the first time you think about the holidays is December 24th or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Record stores are a great place to do it. So it's a little bit of a different intention. It's not a single day thing. We're in it for the long haul of the holiday season.
You've been doing this for 12 years? Give me a number.
Yeah, what is the count?
So Record Store Day, I know offhand, next year will be our 18th. And then we started Black Friday a couple years later. So we're probably more like 15. We predate Small Business Saturday. We get that question a lot. Like, why don't you do this on Saturday? And we predate Small Business Saturday. And so, stores can do Black Friday. They can do Small Business Saturday. They can do, I don't know what Sunday is. They can do Cyber Monday. They can have a 4-day thing of it, whatever they'd like to do. So I guess maybe it's maybe 15. For this.
Can you talk about it, the change over all of that time? What has happened from the first one to the one that's coming up next week?
Well, it's gotten a little easier to plan and to get it onto the calendars of the people at the labels and management and artists, to get them to understand, oh, that's what this is. It's not just Record Store Day. It's Black Friday too. We want to support these stores all year long. Here's 2 great tent poles of the way to do it. It's easier. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we're on the calendar now. We're for real. They start planning. Like, we're already taking submissions for Record Store Day 2025, and we will probably start taking Black Friday submissions 2025 probably in March of next year. So it's kind of a constant thing.
Well, tell us that, because we hear so much since we've had the explosion in vinyl sales over recent years.
Yep.
Coming off of so many plants being closed down and having to sort of re-steer the ship and everything else. We hear all the time about how far ahead people need to plan vinyl releases, that the big superstar releases kind of blow everybody off of all the machines for certain times. I'm wondering about that. When you're working against these hard dates like this, what is the process of getting that teed up through the year?
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing we're on people's calendars this far out, that's for sure. We want people to include record stores in the planning for any release at all, at any time. On any Friday, if you're putting out a record, we want you to have included record stores. And because of the physical nature of things, both vinyl and CDs and everything else, and the fact that you're talking about up to 1,400 independent businesses, it's not one flip of a switch for a marketing plan or a distribution plan or anything like that. 6 to 8 months in advance, as soon as you know a record is coming, or as soon as you know, hey, when it gets to November, I would love to have this project in record stores on Black Friday, or when it gets to April, I would love to have this be part of the celebration of Record Store Day. We want that as early as possible. We're a pretty small team, and we have calendars going out, for the next 10 years. So we can work on projects as far out as people will let us, as far out as they'll bring us in. And I will say that whole idea of where we are with pressing plants and things like that is getting so much better. And there are a lot of people at pressing plants who are actively out now looking for projects. They have capacity, they have the space, and they are, saying, hey, we can do these. And the turnaround times are pretty close to what they were before the pandemic and before the giant rise. Because there are, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and there is a pressing plant here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's owned by a couple who own a record store and a live music venue. None of those three things are going to make them rich, but it makes them happy.
Yep.
And it's a great little thing. And there are pressing plants everywhere that you would never expect.
What?
Yeah.
With the last time we talked about this, Alan, back me up. There was like 2 in the country, and they were overwhelmed. The famous story of Adele having to wait 9 months to release her record because she couldn't get it pressed. That's changed?
Oh, it's absolutely changed. And a lot of the backup coming out of the pandemic, if you talk to the people at the presses, they'll say it was partially because we couldn't get shipping containers to ship the records. We couldn't get pellets because they were being sent. It's easier to send a bunch of pellets to somebody making vinyl flooring than it is to send to us, because they're probably less picky than a pressing plant, but it's the same pellets that go to both places. And wood was really expensive, so more people were using vinyl flooring. And
it's amazing, all the things that affect it.
So much more complicated than Adele had a lot of records being pressed at one time. It's just, but we are all caught up.
So we'll come back to some of the big headline releases that are coming this week. But for you in general, trend-wise, pattern-wise, is there a headline story for 2024?
Black Friday 2024. You'll be happy to hear this, Alan. Lots of jazz. I think the continued presence on the list of people like Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo and Noah Kahan is positive and really, really speaks to the fact that on any given Friday, Saturday, you will find fans of new music, fans of, for lack of a nicer phrase, girly pop, in a record store actively seeking to get a CD or vinyl of these artists. It's just amazing. And the anecdotal stories you'll hear from record stores all across the country of people coming in and bringing generations of a family together and young girls going in. I worked at record stores my whole life. I've never seen as many women in a record store behind the counter, in front of the counter as I have now. And that's pretty exciting for me to see.
It's where the music is.
It is. So yeah, so it's behind the counter, in front of the counter, and on the counter is women in music.
Has there, now that we have the pressing plants, you're saying, and now that the things in terms of vinyl seem to be, in terms of getting vinyl out to people, seem to be improving. I was curious when you mentioned young people going into the stores and families bringing their kids in, because I thought, well, why does a Gen Z or person give a crap about vinyl? They're all about the internet. Do you see things changing, or do you see, a movement among the young?
I do. And by the way, what is after Z?
Alpha? Is that where we're going with?
Is it?
It's as much as I know as we switch alphabets here.
Okay, all right.
Starting over again.
I'm cool with that. I do see that, and I think it's the same thing I've said since we started Record Store Day. When people say, "Why vinyl? Why would it's so easy to have everything at your fingertips?" And yes, it's at your fingertips, but it's also in the cloud. And I think a lot of it, some of it is nostalgia, right? And for whatever reason, I feel like this generation doesn't rebel against their elders the way other generations did. They kind of embrace their elders and they watch the TV shows their parents grew up on and they listen to the music their parents liked or their grandparents. They're very genderless, generationless, genreless. They listen to all kinds of things and they embrace everything. It's all new to them.
Well, as we're talking about a world of such super fandom where they just want anything and everything that's attached to their artists.
To their artists. The armies are a thing unto themselves. And I recommend, the people on this call who write music books maybe write a book about the music armies. That's not me, but who knows? I do think, going back to your question, that it's always been the case where humans as humans don't necessarily want everything that they are emotionally attached to live somewhere else. We're the kind of creature that likes to have our beloved things, our precious. We like to have it around us. And that's not any different for this generation, this youngest generation that's got some disposable funds. I think they want it too. And also they can show their friends, right? You can show them your record collection, your CD collection, which is actually gaining ground with physical formats.
Are you supporting CDs too?
So Record Store Day is about the store and whatever they decide to sell. So we are all about the CD.
All right.
I'm really curious about scale and scope looking at the list this year, because on the one end, the Olivia Rodrigo Guts vinyl, the Billie Eilish vocals, those are 30,000 25,000 pieces. I don't think you've ever done anything as big as that before, if nothing that I remember. But on the other end, to make the full two-part question, some of the others, Pearl Jam, the Stones, those are like 5,000-6,000 sorts, those there's something that's going on in a balancing out of how you're thinking about how many of these you're sending out in the world.
Yes. And to be really, one end or the other, there's an artist from New York, a band that I knew at the time, musician/writer Jack Rabid, his band Springhouse. There are 200 copies of that record coming out. That's the smallest we're doing on the list.
But leaving that, it seems like the ones that were really sort of franchise previous.
Yes.
Pearl Jam was a huge driver for you guys, and they're still there, and they've still got something that's there, but it feels like there's an adjustment in what you're expecting is coming.
Yes, except I would say that Pearl Jam title has an asterisk by it because it's a Pearl Jam title, but it's a single called RSD Song of the Year. So it's something we helped create. It's a special piece that we helped make. It's not, a Pearl Jam record would still be in, multitudes of thousands higher than the number. And the idea of a chase piece, which is something, you literally can't get it everywhere. It's not going to be sitting in the bins at the end of the day. Even the next weekend, it's a chase piece. It's a smaller piece. Some of these things, the Olivia, the Billie, the U2 piece, which is a full record, not a reissue, a standalone record, that's a larger number because we want people to be able to find it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And the idea of having some of these little chase pieces, like the Blind Box series, all those cute little collectible things that are really limited. That's the idea of our chase pieces, which that Pearl Jam is definitely one of those.
Is 30,000 the biggest for any Record Store Day release? It's as big as I remember. No?
No.
Wow.
I'm really bad with numbers and I don't remember the exact number, but I think Taylor Long Pond Sessions was higher. And previous to this, we did have 25,000, I think, there was a Led Zeppelin single, which held that high watermark for us for a while. But you start looking at the numbers that some of these artists, Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, are doing and realizing we don't want anyone to be, that's the other thing. You were talking about their fans and wanting everything their chosen artists have put out. Stores hate to see people upset, especially if someone's coming to a record store for the first time, discovering this record store, and then, they're sold out of the Olivia piece. They're sold out of the Billie Eilish piece. That's not a great experience for anyone, including the cranky record store clerk, who is probably not that cranky in real life. And, we want everybody to find what they want to find. And you can tell who's the big.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there are, as you say, there are some really special releases that are coming out for this year's Black Friday.
Yes.
I know I've been getting emails on both of my shows, on the 80s on Sirius XM and on Classic Rewind, which is the same era. Basically, people are flipping out about this new U2. We've been waiting and waiting. That seems to be one of the biggest ones this time, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, U2, they are massive supporters of what we do and of record stores. And I think that makes a lot of sense. They come from a certain era when physical records were the thing. And also, I can imagine all of them have pretty large physical record collections of their own.
It's because none of them live in New York City. I'm living in 700 square feet here.
You can get shelves everywhere. I see wall space that could be shelves right now.
You know what, Carrie? You're the perfect person. I'm going to get my wife on the phone. She loves music, but not all over her walls in her apartment.
What else do you see as the big? I know there's this the live Van Halen piece.
Yeah,
I do think the Better Than Ezra for the first time on vinyl is going to be a huge contender. That's probably a chase piece we didn't really intend to be a chase piece. There is Noah Kahan, which is the duets version.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of a nice thing. That's another thing about this generation of artists. They all love each other, and they all, love to do each other's songs and end up on each other's records and all of that. That's a big thing. One of the records that the stores ordered the most of because they got the most response for was the anniversary release of the SpongeBob SquarePants soundtrack.
I can see that.
Which speaks to a lot of different generations, I guess. The SpongeBob is there.
The Casey Musgraves with the bonus meditation.
Yes.
Space tracks.
Talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
So I haven't heard it yet, and not for lack of asking for them to get me that, because it's Deeper Into the Well is the name of it. And of course, obviously Deeper Well, the last record. And there is a 20-minute, oh man, I can't remember the exact wording, but it's some sort of like woodland soundscape experience or something like that. And I mean, the woman's name is Spacey Casey on social media. So I think it actually makes a lot of sense. It's very, very on brand. I'm really excited to hear what that is about. That's definitely going to be a very popular one.
20-minute woodland sound experience is, in fact, the quote you have in the press release. So you got it.
I was pretty close. Good. All right. Go me.
But you have not heard it, Alan, have you? I haven't.
No, I was.
No, I was just curious.
They do not serve us the woodland sound experience tracks as a.
They haven't served it to me either.
So excited. Cannot wait.
So an odd, bigger picture question. Because there was a weird thing a couple of months back. There was, just for people who read this, there was the story that came out that said vinyl sales are down this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the next day or two, there was a wait. No, they're actually not.
Yeah.
So what was going on?
So, oh man, how much time do we have? So in October, just about a year ago, in October of 2023, Luminate, who was formerly SoundScan, formerly Billboard, announced that they were going to change the way they collected and modeled sales data from independent record stores. And that's kind of our bread and butter, and really important for their sales data to be accurate and as complete as possible. I mean, in ways you just don't think about. It's important for that data to be collected and done right. And we had a lot of questions for Luminate. Labels and distribution had a lot of questions for Luminate. Mostly, how do you plan to get stores to report to you? The way they were going to change the modeling would basically decimate the sales, and you would not be able to do year-over-year comparisons. There was a lot of you could call it a strike. There were, what ended up happening was we, Record Store Day, in conjunction with a company called Street Pulse, came up with a new way for record stores to report to Street Pulse, which would then give it to Luminate, which would then make things available for Billboard. And it's going great. There are now 400 plus record stores reporting. And the more you get reporting, the better and more accurate your sales data will be, which means everybody's working from actual data. This time last year, when Luminate made their change, there were 75 stores reporting. We're now at 400. We are heading towards much more accurate data. On the Billboard website, there is a daily snapshot called Market Watch. Someone at a news outlet, a music news outlet, was going to do their own year over year, ignoring any context about you can't do year over year because of this change in the modeling of the data. Did it, found that it was 33% down, but didn't really understand there were about 4 months when there are absolutely no sales from record stores reported at all. So you can't do that. And I tend to think the fact that it was 33% was just too good not to go with.
33% over 33% of the year.
It was just too good for them not to go with. And it was literally, I think, one post from this music outlet that got picked up by other outlets and went everywhere. And immediately we saw it, because I spend an unhealthy amount of time on music social media. I saw it, went to Luminate. What are we going to do about this? Is this true? Can't be true. And they immediately put out, it's actually up 6.4%. Basically, we're removing indies from both 2023 and 2024. That's why you get the two different numbers. So it's up 6.4 instead of being down 33%, but it's probably up higher if you actually put the indies back in, because everything I've been told, indies represent 40 to 45% of the sales of any piece of vinyl. So it's probably higher than that. So that's where that all went. And just to underscore the importance of the accurate data, in that, I think it was like 2 days, right? Between when the first one came out and said it was 33% down, and then when the second one came out and said it's actually 6 point something up. In that 2-day period, we had a store say, someone at my bank on the risk assessment team is a fan of music and saw this. And so it's in his head now, should I make small, really important decisions are being made based on this stuff, which, accuracy in data, accuracy in journalism, all that stuff is really real world important. So yeah, that's my long-winded way of saying what happened there. They're up 6.2.
November 29, Black Friday, Record Store Day, Black Friday.
Recordstoreday.com is the place to go.
Yes. Recordstoreday.com is the place to go online. Record stores are the place to go in the real world.
Right. You could check for people who are new to Record Store Day. There are neophytes.
Oh, absolutely.
Recordstoreday.com will explain it all for you.
That's right. I have to explain what I do to some of my parents' friends every year. So yeah.
It's good. As long as more are asking each time,
right?
The needle goes up.
That's right.
Carrie Colliton, always great to have you on. Thank you so much.
Oh, you guys, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
And to you as well. Welcome back once again. Thanks to Carrie Colliton for updating us on what your Black Friday is going to be like in record stores near you. This past week, we introduced a new social segment here on Sound Up. Each Thursday, we're going to post a retro-themed question that you, our pod squatters, can answer for Throwback Thursday.
So this past week, this first edition here, we turned to ask you what your first portable music device was.
Oh boy, how telling that is.
That's right. Now that everything is portable all the time, back to the days when it was not so, where did you come into this?
We got dozens of comments on this one, and they ranged from transistor radios. Thank God some people mentioned transistors, to portable cassette players like the one that Rerun used to bootleg the Doobie.
Any excuse for what's happening.
Come on, how did you come up with that? Oh my God. So used to bootleg the Doobie Brothers on what's happening, all sorts of devices, but the winner by far was either the Sony Walkman or a knockoff version of the Sony Walkman, which in its earliest form hit the market in 1979.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, I think that's right. with the big brick-shaped ones. Yeah,
They were huge.
Oh, were they with the cell phones?
Bigger.
If you would have asked me this, my answer would have been that first Walkman. But really, the answer is the transistor radio. I mean, really, it is. I was just I had my little white plastic transistor radio with AM with the one earpiece.
Yeah,
I lived and died for that.
Dude, how old were you? 4? Listening to that?
When I was little, whatever. When I was 8, I don't know.
Because I was listening to it when I was 8.
Yeah, you couldn't separate me. But I just did a thing a week or two ago with David Byrne, an interview for something, and he was talking about his first transistor radio.
Device.
We were comparing notes on that, and how we all get hung up on, look, all the great arguments for great audiophile, systems and sound and everything else. But the fact is, we all fell in love with music listening to it on these little one ear, crackly sounding things, and we don't love it any less for that. So you can join in the fun with us every week. Go see all the comments, the stories that people told us about their first portable music devices. Head over to our socials on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Blue Sky, all at SoundUpPod or sounduppod.com.
All right. That is wild. I can't believe you were listening to a transistor radio. I mean, Alan, I have you by like 14 years or something. You are a music fanatic.
There was no new portable option in the years in between.
Right.
I mean, I guess there were the little 8-track machines, the small ones that you could stick an 8-track in and, whatever, but I wasn't doing that.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that is interesting. And please, this is going to be fun. Throwback Thursday will be a blast. Let's move on here. We do have, before we wrap things up for Sound Up this week, we have new music to get to. Roger, you want to start it off? What do you got?
So glad you did this because I was going to do it, but you took it off my plate. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry that I did. I apologize for that. I was going through new music this week, and, going down the list. First, I kind of look through the list, look at the names, and I see Al Green. And I'm like, Al Green?
Yeah.
I haven't heard new music from Al Green in a long time. And then it says Al Green, Everybody Hurts. And I'm like, that can't be REM's 1992 Everybody Hurts. And it is. Al Green does an amazing cover of this song that, honestly, it might be better than the original. I've listened to this song 3 times in a row because I just found it today.
Yeah.
And it is so good. I mean, it's his first song in 6 years. And I don't think he's put out an album in even longer than that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last thing that I remember from Al Green was the duet with Annie Lennox.
He's done some record. He did a record with Questlove. He did it.
Right.
There have been some 21st century Al Green albums, but it has been a minute.
Yeah, that's exciting,
it is
Roger.
Such a good version of this song. I mean, it's Al Greenified for sure. He just does exactly what you would want him to do with this song.
Right.
But when you listen to it this way, you realize how great of a song it is, how great this REM song is, and how much the lyrics really lend itself to this type of a version.
Man, I have not heard it, so I can't wait.
He's 78 years old. His voice obviously isn't what it used to be. It isn't that sort of feathery, he's not singing way up high. It's a huskier sound than that, but he's the greatest soul singer alive. And he brings all of that to a song you wouldn't initially think would work that way. And then as soon as you hear it are like, oh yeah, like that.
Yeah. Which is really a testament to the song itself. It's such a good song and he just does a great version.
Man, once we're done here, I have to go and listen. This is the first time hearing about that and I'm a major fan.
So good. So
wow.
good.
That's great. Is that it? Is that what you got? I got a couple things. What was on repeat for me all weekend long? Matt Nathanson, our pal Matt Nathanson, has a new song. He has a new album, which he's trumpeting online, called The King of Unsimple, with un in parentheses, The King of Unsimple. And the single out now is called Whitney Houston's National Anthem. And it is one of my favorite Matt Nathanson singles ever. This is one where he works with the Indigo Girls together. And I don't know exactly, I mean, they're on it. And if there's video and we see them sitting around and playing, I don't know how much they contributed to the writing of it, but there's some great Matt Nathanson lines in there. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this album. And he also is going to be going out on his first headline tour in in like 2.5 years, starting in February. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing Matt back out on tour headlining, which means more time to tell insane stories and act like a goofball on stage, which he does so well.
That's what you're going for.
That's half the set.
Is it a full band tour or a solo tour?
Full band.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So the other one that I wanted to mention comes from a guy named Tunde Adebimpe. I'm doing my best to pronounce his name correctly. His new album and his new song is called Magnetic. If you know this guy, you know him because he was the lead vocalist in TV on the radio. But he has done so many more things since. He is a musician, a singer-songwriter, that we know. He is an actor. He has acted on television and film, like major films with major directors. He is a director himself. He's a visual artist, but also in 1998, he worked as one of the initial animators on MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch. That's how far afield this guy goes. But check out Magnetic. That's the name of the song and the album from Tunde Adebimpe. You will not be disappointed.
All right. I guess I'm going to close us out. As you can probably tell, since it came up during the Drake story, during the Jack Antonoff story, I spent most of the weekend with the complete shock surprise new album from Kendrick Lamar, GNX, which apparently even his label did not know was coming out until Friday morning when it came out. And look, it's a lot to process a new Kendrick album. It's not a thing to do in a couple of days. It's not. What's notable is, I think this is not a sort of high concept album coming off of Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper, which was this hugely personal, interior, very difficult listen, the last album, or what the sort of scope of To Pimp a Butterfly was. This isn't that. This is really much more of a straight sort of hip hop record. I think much more accessible in some ways than what those were. Some big fans a little bit disappointed that it isn't kind of a grander swing, since that's what this Pulitzer Prize winner is all about. But track for track, it's a really strong set of songs. It's a lot of just assertion of what it is to be, as he argues throughout, the best to ever do this. What comes with that? What expectation? What pressure? There's a couple of sort of very secondary, there's some Drake stuff in there at a distance. He did not put Not Like Us or any of the straight up Drake battle songs on this album. The most sort of ambitious writing, there's a song called Reincarnated that uses a Tupac sample and sort of a Tupac rasp in his voice that tells the story of different, fictional, I assume, but they may refer to real tragic figures in Black music. A blues guitar player who dies, an addicted R&B singer, and sort of him as the extension of the difficulties and the torment that come with being a Black American making music in this way. So I'm just going to go with the first song, which is called Whacked Out Murals. If I'm going to go with one, because it sort of tees up the album, starting from him being pissed about somebody defacing a mural of him in LA. Should say it's a very LA record. He's working with a lot of young LA new artists. A lot of the references, there's a song called Dodger Blue. A lot of the stuff that's on there is really situated in Los Angeles in a very specific way. So it's Kendrick Lamar, man. He's as important as anybody out there making music. I will continue to be listening to this for a while and liking it a lot. My song pick may change, but the overall take will continue to evolve. My other is I'm so happy for an excuse to mention this specific song. Father John Misty put out a new album last week. It is called Mahashmashana. It is a Sanskrit word. I hope I am pronouncing it right. I blow very hot and cold on Father John Misty, I will say. I find a lot of what he does, I respect the writing, and I get bored by it. And everything doesn't need to be 10 minutes long, and everything doesn't need to put everything in every song. But every once in a while, there's a song that I love within what he does. And there is a song on here that actually came out earlier this year. He put it on, he did a great-ish hits collection. Great-ish hits. And he put this song on as like a bonus track on that. He's been playing it live for a long time. It is called, I Guess Time Just Makes Fools of Us All. I love this. This is one of my favorite songs of the year. I love this song. It is very in the vein of Leonard Cohen doing The Future, or Dylan doing Things Have Changed. It's very structured like that, kind of lines and lines and images, and then a refrain. It's like a cheesy disco beat, so it is kind of like those Leonard, like The Future and I'm Your Man and those songs. It's got like a sax solo and a conga break, and it's got this like disco Steely Dan kind of thing to it. I love this song. I don't care if he does nothing else. I'm all in on this one. And I remember it came out and it was a week we weren't taping, or it was a holiday or something, and I wasn't able to mention it when it came out a few months back. So I get to mention it now. I Guess Time Just Makes Fools of Us All from Father John Misty.
Sweet. All right, so I think you've got plenty to check out on our Spotify Sound Up soundtrack playlist. You can just go over to Spotify and search it over there. That wraps up this edition of Sound Up. Don't forget to check us out on socials and YouTube for exclusive content, full video episodes, and more. It's all at Sound Up Pod.
And stay connected to everything Sound Up related, including future live shows. Send in your comments, your reviews as text or audio messages. Let us know what you scored on Black Friday. Send all of that stuff to connect@sounduppod.com and become part of the podcast. And please go give us a 5-star review, like our Facebook page, email us at connect@sounduppod.com, follow us on Twitter, X, Blue Sky,
Instagram,
wherever you turn. We want to be there. Instagram.
All of that and more. Or perhaps on your first portable device. Like us on there as well. Thank you for listening and supporting us here on Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light.
Sound Up is produced by Roger Coletti for Roger That Media, hosted by Mark Goodman and Alan Light, and distributed by Revolver Podcasts. Theme music by Smile from Tokyo. Roger that.